Oh yeah, some of my keywords I found were actually on a site called Stack Exchange, and this is a website of little communities. And for example, there's a photography community on there, and people ask questions very similar to Quora, but there's a lot of intelligent people on that platform. Um, so you can see how many times a question was viewed and how popular it is, and you can kind of gauge what's a good question to go after. And it's also great for research too when you're writing content. Like I said, there's a lot of smart people in there that you can research.
Okay. So did you say go to a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush and like scrape their organic keywords and then filter down to your niche so that you could just say, oh, well, here's more user generated content. And sometimes I know the site you're talking about, by the way, there's a lot of developers and stuff, right? Is that the origin of the site?
Yeah, I think it was originally aimed at programmers, but now all these other smaller communities popped up on the same platform.
Okay. Yeah. So there's really smart people, but also that means sometimes the responses are kind of, I don't know, I don't know how to even phrase it, like more abrupt. They're like, you're an idiot, and then they'll answer the question, like that sort of thing. With that said, there's good material there, but I can see how, like, if someone was like, if you had the option to go to Stack Exchange or a website that stripped out the attitude and just gave you the answer, I'd go to the other website. So, okay. So, did you go scrape some keywords from Stack Exchange and got like some good ideas? Plus, you had research URLs to maybe refer to later, right?
I When you say scrape, I didn't use any specific program, but I browsed through the sites manually.
Awesome. Okay. So, moving on to content. It sounds like you're doing a lot of the writing yourself, but yeah, what's your approach with content overall?
Some of it I've written myself, a lot of it I've outsourced as well. So my approach is the first thing I like to do is figure out user intent. So the first question I ask is when someone searches for this keyword, what are they actually looking for? Like what situation are they in? Why would they be asking this question? Because no one searches for something unless they have a problem. Like so I try to get in their shoes and just come up with like real information that's um, like really detailed that actually really helps them. Can I drive a car without a gas cap? I would say, would it harm your car? Is it good for your car? What
Is it
happens if you do it?
dangerous? Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems like, hey, will
is
the
it
car blow up?
yeah, is it dangerous? So I'm trying to think of like what related questions they might have, or what's the next logical question they would have after I answer the first one.
All right. Is this, and we're going out of order here, but like, is this a niche that you're interested in? Like, you're mentioning that you're trying to put yourself in the person's shoes. Any, details on the niche selection here?
When I first picked the niche, I wasn't into it, but I've started to get into it myself, which is I think a really good strategy because as I'm learning things, I can also answer them on the website and take my own photos if I own the products and things like that.
Very good. All right. So you basically identified something that was low competition, it looked interesting enough, and then as you spend more time on it, you're getting into it. All right. That's cool. Now with the content, I think you said you have about 40 posts or so.
Yep.
So, from January, that's not a huge output compared to, some people are going nuts out there and publishing, one, two articles per day. Sounds like you were writing some yourself, but yeah, do you have anyone helping you out? What's the situation on the content production?
I've tried a few writers, and I primarily stick to one writer who has some experience in my niche, so that's helpful.
Where'd you find this writer?
On Facebook.
Okay. So just
Yeah.
kind of randomly, or were you in a group, or how'd you find him?
Yeah, it wasn't a Facebook group. There's a few groups out there where you can hire writers or copywriters, and I posted I was looking for someone, and this person messaged me.
How do you set up the payments and stuff?
So I charge per word, and after the article is done, I send them payment through PayPal.
I know you have a Facebook group, so you're more into Facebook than me, where I have to like be reminded. Someone's like, hey, I sent you a message. You need to go in and check it in there. So is there a reason why you didn't go with one of the platforms like Upwork, where I usually hire writers personally? So yeah, why'd you go with the Facebook route and just the individual?
I guess part of it was maybe communication. Like I can get samples from them and just evaluate their work and ask questions easier.
Okay.
I feel like Upwork is, well, I feel like hiring writers in general is hit or miss. But
Oh yeah.
I just felt more comfortable with Facebook.
Okay. Well, I mean, another obvious thing is like it's cheaper, right? Because Upwork is charging the writer and they're charging you to use the platform. So just it's probably, I'm not even sure the fees, but if I had to guess, it's like 10 to 15% cheaper. There's less waste in there, just overall. So everyone's
Yeah.
like you two parties are a little bit happier, and you get more of the money, right? You get more of the production, they get more of the money. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. Cool. How long have you been working with that writer?
Well, since the beginning of the year. It's more sporadic. I mean, I could go a few months without adding any new content.
Okay.
I get burned out and then I start working again in spurts.
Okay. And
That's
then
more my work style.
all right. Does the writer draft in WordPress or just write the content and then you take it from there?
Yeah, so I usually give them a detailed outline, and I literally lay out like the introduction and then the subheading with details to cover, and then the next subheading with more details. So I create the outline, which involves some like research initially. It might take me, a half hour to find what to include in the template, and then I send the writer the template, and then he gives it back to me in a Word document, and then I copy that into WordPress.